I thought it would be fun to cover bird crimes.
What is more fitting?
What is more fitting?
And I
can't think of any other crimes associated with Thanksgiving.
I think I know the answer to this question, but have you ever processed a bird? And not like the existence of birds.
Like the psychological processing. Have you ever wrapped your mind around the concept of a bird?
Have you ever processed the concept of a bird? Because first of all, birds aren't fucking real. They are all spawned out of the Space Needle, and they're all government drones.
I'm going to say no and no. I've never physically, plucked the pin feathers from a still warm dead bird.
So I've done that.
I know you have.
I've done that. It was...
Did you love it or hate it?
There were parts I didn't participate in. So what I did, that I volunteered to assist with poultry processing on a small Black-owned farm in southern Minnesota. And I actually think it's a really cool experience. And especially if you eat meat, it's valuable to know what happens to your dinner before it's your dinner. I think.
I think that's a very responsible thing to do.
But I went to this beautiful farm and I did some bird capture. So you grab them by the legs and you hold them upside down, and that blood flow to the head kind of knocks them out. So they just don't. They're not
limp.
And they're not freaking out. And then they had this guillotine of cones. So you put these birds in these cones upside down.
Like a gallows.
Yeah, and their heads pop out the bottom. And then the part I did not participate in was putting them in the cones and securing them and then cutting their heads off with the knife. I didn't do that part. I watched it, but I didn't do it. And they truly do kick those legs for a while after their head is cut off.
Why is that? I'm going to look that up. I should have looked that up.
Some neurological response. They must not have the same kind of complex connection that our brainstem and has with the rest, the functionality of the rest of our body. I don't know. It must just send fucking messages, fire messages.
Okay. So this is what happened.
Okay.
They have larger than normal eye sockets, which allows the brain to move higher up into the skull after their neck is cut. Also, their nervous system and their spinal cord is still intact even if their head is cut off.
Okay, so maybe they're maybe that portion of their body is lower.
It also triggers nerve endings in the neck, which sends a burst of electricity down the nerves to the muscles. That's why they
There you go.
Wow.
So when that part is done and you keep the farm dogs away from the bucket of severed heads, because those farm dogs love to get their maws on a chicken head.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. And these dogs were white, pure white. So I'm pushing these dogs away from this bloody bucket. No one can talk about not being able to process the concept of a bird. No one will be able to process this. We can't have this. Then you take the birds out of the cones and you dip them in a very specifically temperatured hot water vat so that it loosens the feathers but doesn't cook the bird.
Oh.
And then you put them in this weird, it looks like a clothing dryer, but filled with rubber thimbles. And it spins around and it's wet and that pulls and sucks out most of like the big clumps of feathers.
Centrifuge.
Yeah, and then you take it out of there, and then this is the part that I did that was like my favorite. If you're like a skincare person, this is like really fun. You take like little tweezers and you get every single feather like from the folds of their little legs and whatever. Then I handed it off to professionals who knew how to like actually butcher the chickens and take out the organs to set aside that are edible, and then the organs that are not edible. To prepare them, it was for like a free-range poultry CSA. It was really cool. It was really fascinating. I got to drive a tractor, which I was probably not qualified to do. I think you need like a special license, but like I'm not saying the name of the farm, so no one's gonna get in trouble. And I looked fucking awesome driving that tractor and did a really good job.
You did do a good job. Yep. And I'm gonna take my headband off now because I feel a little bit
bad,
weird about it.
Yeah.
No.
Well, there you go. There you go. That was my experience. Bird crimes.
Okay, those are chickens.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I'm glad that you were honest with your diet and your association to
I still eat chicken.
Meat processing.
It's beef that freaks me out. Bill has...
I can't. I fucking can't.
Bill's done work, like photo, video work at a co-op beef farm processing slaughterhouse. And he's like, that's shit that you can't unsee. Even under like the most humane, clean, grass-fed, free-range, like a literal paradise for these animals. Still, the end of their lives is... something to behold. It's really rough. So he did that a couple of years ago. We have not had red meat in our house ever since. It's like, no, not happening.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
June and I watched Babe last night.
Oh, the original or Pig in the City?
Oh, the original.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
If I had words to
stop, I always cry when that.
For you,
I always cry at that part, and I
give you a morning, golden and true. Ba, 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 ba.
And then he jigs.
Oh, that movie's so good.
Look, goosebumps.
I know. Baram you.
I'll ram you to your sheep, your fleece, your clan be true.
Sheep be true.
Sheep be true.
I'll ram you. Oh, I love Babe. Hey, guess what?
What?
I watched Gladiator last night.
So did I. That was my second movie.
You know what?
Very MAGA-y in retrospect. It was a lot better when I was like 14.
Mm-hmm. You really gave me hell for not seeing it, and then I watched it, and I was like, this?
I was just shocked that you hadn't seen it in its heyday.
Are you not entertained?
You evidently were not entertained.
I was, it was fine.
That was Joaquin Phoenix's, like, big breakout role.
I mean, Russell Crowe's little Caesar haircut. Very cute.
Well, now you're equipped to see Gladiator 2.
I am, and I will, because anything that Pedro Pascal touches must be cleaved against my chest. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Well, that's my boyfriend.
Now that we have our weekend plans, shall we
get into bird crimes?
With bird crimes and start off with our wine segment, Amanda? What are we drinking today for bird crimes?
Yeah, well, I'm not drinking because COVID.
It's also the AM.
It's also, we started at like 11:30, so that just wasn't going to happen. But I did pick out a wine that is available at Total Wine. It retails for $14, and it's just like a nice, solid Columbia Valley, California Cabernet, which I feel like maybe in the wake of the threat, or you could say promise of tariffs, looking into wines that are made in the U.S. might be something we want to do.
Yeah.
Because it could get real expensive if you want anything from outside of the country.
Yep.
I'm fine. So I found Birdsong Hill Cabernet Sauvignon, Columbia Valley.
Beautiful.
Again, you can get this bad boy right at your local Total Wine. It is a classic California cab. You're going to get that like more... Oh, sorry. This is Columbia Valley, Washington. This is not California, but similar viticultural area. It's a savory cab. You're going to get the like mocha, baking spice, little bit of oak, vanilla. And it's just nice and medium bodied. It's going to go really, really well with like beef, even though I said we don't eat red meat in our house, whatever. Hard cheeses, lamb, like those nice, savory, kind of bold meats. It's 13.8% ABV. You are going to want to get yourself a wine key, and I would recommend procuring one on our online store, wineandcrimepodcast.bigcartel.com, because she is a popper. She, again, yeah, you're going to have a lot of kind of bold flavors, a lot of like warm, not sweet, I'd say. It's a dry, balanced, pretty clean finish, but like it's an oak aged cab. So you are going to get a little more of that like nutty, peppery, vanilla spice out of this. So it's like a great holiday wine as well. This could be a really fun one to mull on the stove and like add some cinnamon, add some clove. Yep. Add some orange slices. Yeah. So it's a pretty versatile, solid, Columbia Valley Cabernet, $14. It's gonna get the job done. And if you drink it, let me know how it is, because I still can't taste or smell very well, but I'm getting there. So I'm drinking, in reality, Waterloo Peach Sparkling Water. Are you sipping on anything this early in the day or not really?
In reality, got my Caribou. I got a dark hot chocolate.
Yum.
With oat milk, but also whipped cream.
Oh my God.
Not a monster.
Heaven. I have an errand to run after this. I may have to go through the Caribou drive-thru and get myself a little treat for doing something outside of the house, masked for the first time in a week and a half.
They have their winter drinks now. They're not a sponsor yet. Caribou,
yeah, I know, right? Get at us, Caribou. We love you. They
have their spicy mocha.
Yum.
That's so good.
And it's chai season, too.
It's chai season, baby.
It's snowing a little bit today, actually. Is it snowing where you are?
It was a little bit earlier.
It's not sticking. The ground's still too warm, and it rained all day yesterday. It's been very weird, the weather around here. I think Mother Nature is like, y'all done fucked up, and I'm going to cry about it for a while. And we're like, you know what?
Weirder.
That's fair. We did this to you.
They have a massive storm right now in the Pacific Northwest.
I saw that. It almost looks like a hurricane.
It's a cyclone.
I don't like it.
A bomb cyclone.
Okay. Well, should we take a quick break to hear from our sponsors and maybe order like storm shutters and, I don't know, guns?
At least the tools needed for processing your own poultry at home.
Yep.
Because it's gonna be cheaper.
In the wake of this election, Lucy and I are gonna go full trad wife content and just homestead.
I've always wanted to compost.
Listen, we are white women, and this is what white women do.
It's our destiny.
It's our destiny. Well, I sure hope you liked that clip. If you did like that clip, make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel, leaving us a nice review, and joining us on Patreon for even more video content, audio content, salacious content all around. Come join us. Treat yourself.